not give it to Infamous.
Yeah, there it is.
So Infamous is going to ban their own Ench to defend against the Team Secret Ench.
Yeah.
But all the other bans are the same. They're still trying to keep Infamous away from their core playstyle, this kind of core protect one.
Well, Secret basically get an extra ban since they have first pick, so they get to take out the Magnus. So now Infamous are going to have to dig one deeper, since not just their 3 best heroes, but now their 4 best opening heroes have been taken away.
Yep. I almost feel like Infamous might be looking at something like a Shadow Demon, because that denies a ton of Hector's heroes, I feel like. And if they have it themselves, obviously, then they can pick up this Lifestealer, this Sven kind of heroes he likes playing.
That hero just denies a lot of heroes right
really
now.
Does. All the carry melee. It feels like it really does.
Even like every strength hero, all these like Timbersaw, Bristlebacks, even Tiny, they lose 40% of their health no matter what.
Yeah.
And Gods, you were on timeout. This hero like should be getting banned,
I think
but like where do you put it in? Like obviously they think, I mean, maybe instead of the Omni or something, but obviously they're scared.
I think Tiny, you don't know where it's going to go. The flexibility that they can run at mid, off lane, or even 4 position, it's just so hard to play against. And when he gets that Axe timing, Tree Volley is just an insane spell right now.
Yeah, even as a 4, we've seen how much we can do this tournament.
Yeah, you can still farm an Ag Scepter as a 4. These games are dragging. You're going to get your Blink into... You can just go Blink into Ags and then get the Echo Saber afterwards. There's so much room for this hero to get farmed.
And there it is. I like it.
Another save, if he can get it during the toss combo. In the early game, it'll save a core.
Yeah.
A lot of damage for this Tiny. This Tiny's going to have like 3k HP at 20-30 minutes in the game, and 40% of that's just gone at the start of a fight.
Do you want him to pick a core here? Do you think they will? Do you think possibly you go with your Hector hero paired up with that?
Yeah, usually they've been picking their Hector hero pretty early because his lane doesn't matter as much, because he's just going to jungle anyway, like level 4. So give him a bad lane and make space for him.
Yeah, where they play like Chris Luck. He'll usually have a good lane, right? He had I think, most CS by 10 minutes in, and then after that, he doesn't even care. They'll just go over, and then Hector, that's when he starts farming. So I think we'll probably see that, unless there's like a Whisper hero they really like.
Is it really just like the Lifestealer that stands out as far as these heroes go? Oh, Whisper hero is going to be picked up.
Yeah, I think Lifestealer as well as Sven, we're both looking good here. I think they're both okay to pick up early, but they do go with the Tide Hunter.
Yeah, just some team fight, a good laner. I know we talked about this hero quite a bit recently about how some people don't really like it that much. Yeah. It gets picked a lot, and in some of the game it looks a little underwhelming. You have this like 25 talent that makes you really strong with 250 damage, so you can kind of scale to the late game, but it's kind of worrisome when you pick these 2 heroes that don't really have stuns.
Yeah.
Right, like Disruption's a soft stun, it's kind of a banish, and the Ravage is an ultimate, and you can't ultimate for every single solo pick off a game, right? So it's I think they're 5. If it's Shadow Demon, they need like a 4 or a mid that kind of has stuns so that they can continuously fight, because if they will only Ravage and fight around their Ravage, they're going to have Chrono every fight. And I think Chrono is a probably stronger skill than Ravage.
And I like this. The Void, I mean, they've been first phasing it a ton here. And honestly, a lot of people would be like, well, Tide versus Void, it's going to be really bad. It's not that bad for Void. Like, he'll get harassed a little bit, but once you get like level 5, you start taking that off, you're just going to start like either creep skipping, whatever. It's not that bad. And now you have the team fight. And that's how Secret won last game, right? They had the overall better team fight.
Also, the Void can go into Silver Edge if he really feels the need for it. He's a natural Shadow Blade buyer.
It seems Secret just understand these are maybe 2 of the best cores right now in the game, because you go back, even the start of the group stage, you go back a few months, you'd almost very rarely see cores being picked up, multiple of them in that first stage. But that's what Secret are willing to do.
I know a lot more players are comfortable picking their heroes earlier in the game. It used to be, at least like for me, and like I think a lot of other players, is they'd be really scared of getting countered. So it's like when I'd be picking my like an Ember Spear, I'd be like, oh, I don't want the other team to pick like a Nyx to counter me, right? And someone told me, I think it was March, he basically said like, you're a core player, why should we be really scared of these supports? It's like they're just a support, you're a core, you're the bigger hero of the game, you have to overcome these like walls, these obstacles in your way to like win a Dota game. And sometimes your game's gonna be hard, there's gonna be counters, hero counters, lane counters,
There's always gonna be.
Yeah, no game's gonna be like perfect, right?
Yeah. And that's where playing all these pub games, which is what most of these pros do, can really help from mids, because you pick your hero up, you're often playing into those 10 pick counters.
That's why a lot of times, even some mids, when they want to practice a hero, they'll just first pick it like 20 pubs in a row. I know like RTZ does it, CCNC will do it, at least from like, I know the NA region more, but they will like just take a hero, like RTZ did with Arcord, for example. He just spam that hero, and he learned all the matchups. He learned what people would want to pick against it, all the what people wouldn't really pick against it, what it would be really good against, good with, and you got to learn a lot of hero matchups, because people would draft around it.
You got to sacrifice your MMR. Honestly, a lot of people say that, but like you might have to sacrifice to learn. Like if you want to be #1 MMR, good for you. But if you want to be a pro player, you have to be willing to learn, as you say.
So they're gonna take out a lot of those strong heroes right now in the second phase. They're kind of banning to protect their first phase. With Infamous, the AA ban, it helps against Tidehunter. You can't remove the debuff, the Ice Blast. So the Tidehunter gets a little squishy, and then from the team of Team Secret, they're taking out Naga and the Mirana, just like a strong 4 with the Shadow Demon. And
Always scary.
Yeah. Naga also.
Have you seen him play it much? I haven't seen. I mean, I'm pretty sure Hector can always play it, but I have just not seen him play Naga.
I don't think they play it because I think it's not like his type of hero, right? Like he likes to be the one hitting creeps.
Yeah.
When you're having these illusions hitting creeps, that doesn't feel the same. You know?
It is just one of the best matchup counters to Void, though.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably what they understand is like, maybe he doesn't play it, but what if he does?
Yeah, you just get rooted and you can't jump away.
Yeah, and you're just, as a Void, it's so hard to ever find the real Naga. You just have illusions being thrown at you.
Annoying.
Even a song whenever you chrono, if you don't BKB early.
I mean, and we saw like early in the game when the PL had the diffusal, like this Void had a lot of trouble dealing with it. It's kind of the same with Naga. You get diffused, you're just dead, and you're just dead in the water. I do like the Elder Titan ban. Obviously, it's the same as AA. It's something that goes good into there, and oh, yes.
Bringing back some of the old school classic Void counters.
We are in a Whisper. He played a ton of this hero as well in the qualifiers.
So is this Skullfield
I think it.
Shadow Demon? And a 5 Tide?
That's a good question.
I think they ran a 5 Tide before.
I believe they have. And,
Doom
you know,
Tide,
Rush level 1's not bad.
Yeah, Doom Tide as a 3/4 doesn't sound the greatest. So.
Yeah, it doesn't. I mean, they could obviously be a support Doom, but from what I've seen them playing, it's almost always Whisper Doom.
Puppy Witch Doctor picked him response. There's a 5 position just to secure that lane to help the Void out, I feel.
I think that's Team Secret watching the replays from yesterday. Their match against Mineski, Ninja Boogie played Witch Doctor against a Zai Tide.
Yep.
And he completely ruined the Tide's game for the first 20 minutes. You can't remove Maledict. It's really good against these tanky heroes.
And it's damage inside the Chrono, which is always good. There's the Life Stealer. Yep, we figured they took the Shadow Demon. He's either picking that or Sven. Like, I didn't see them taking any other hero.
Hector classic. He likes going Midas. He likes going Radiance on the hero. He can go Howard as well, kind of help against the Void, force me to go MKB.
Get his casual Belt of Strength.
Yeah, just kind of hold in his inventory for 20 minutes.
Well, Secret probably looking for some damage inside the Chronosphere, I feel, with Yapstor's hero as well. They have got the Death Ward, but can't really go wrong with throwing in some more damage, or at least some follow-up to it.
Yeah, his Mirana and his Rubik are taken out, but the Enigma.
Wow.
There's that late game team fight that Secret loves doing. We saw versus EG in that game too. You have the Enigma, you have the Chrono now. I mean, we didn't talk about, but the Tiny Ags is like almost an end-all be-all of the late game now.
Enigma versus both Tide and Lifesteal feels fantastic. The Doom is the maybe one here that can be annoying, but even that is still like a kind of low cost range. You can't just throw it immediately when you see that Enigma Black Hole come out.
So going to the tournament, a lot of more teams I think prioritized Enigma. Like in the past couple of months, they would kind of first ban it, first pick it, and the idea was that it would almost always win your offlane. You get 1 deny per wave. He also just is one of the best heroes to jungle with right now. But a lot of this meta, this tournament, has been the 4s are a little more free to roam. There's more like creep cutting for them, the 3, so the 4s have a little more open game, and now they can walk at this Enigma jungle.
And it might be a Zai Enigma. That's what we saw yesterday. So who knows? I think that's the thing. Tiny Enigma, they're both going to get farmed no matter what. That's just how Secret plays, and especially with these two heroes.
Lina ban, that's just kind of a stable mid, I think. That if the Tiny's like a support or an offlane, that they can just throw a Lina on mid. He's going to do fine in whatever matchup. It's also really good against a lot of Chris Luck's heroes. The Ember, the Monkey, the Slark. This Lina is just going to stun you in the lane, hit you 6 times.
And I didn't see, but I assume Infamous chose last pick. I think for a team like them, getting that last pick for Chris Luck, like he is the most momentum-based mid player, it feels like.
Well, which one of Chris Luck's heroes do you think they would like this game? It seems like a hard Slark game.
I think we still got to see Secrets, right? Because I think they're picking their hero last. Because if it is something like, what if they pick Kunkka? Sure, Slark it up. That's the thing. But what do you think Secret's going to pick first? Do you think they need more team fight, or you already have Enigma, Tiny, Void?
They probably need more lane push from their mid. Like the Lina ban would have been good if it wasn't. If they pick something like OD, it's like they're going to be really greedy. So I think they need like less greedy, more pushing lanes, a little sacrificial, so that your Void and your Enigma can kind of, claw their way up the net worth.
I could see Secret taking a sniper in their 9th pick. They've been taking, or their last pick, they've been taking sniper a lot when they don't see the enemy team's middle. And you have the chrono, you have the black hole.
I'd be a little scared against the last pick.
True. I mean, who really counters sniper in the lane? Like, what's his worst matchups, you think?
That's true. He doesn't really have that many bad matchups these days.
Because you can sit back, you can even shrapnel farm jungle.
Yeah.
He loves farming the jungle. Midwin was farming it at like level 3 on the Earthshaker.
They're going to run the tiny mid. They last
okay.
pick a bad.
Yeah.
They get another hero that doesn't really care too much about the team fight spells, like the Ravage or whatever.
Could be a flex 2, 3 or 4 with the Enigma.
Yeah,
so open lanes.
I think it'll probably be a 4 Enigma and his eye on that Abba.
Yeah.
You got tower push now as well, because they were actually kind of missing a little bit of it besides the Enigma.
It lanes really well against Lifestealer. He won't have open wounds for the chase, so if he ever gets open wounds, you shield or removes it, he'll be able to walk away.
All right, you're the mid player, Gunner. You know it's going to be a tiny mid, not much roaming potential. Who are you asking for?
I think I want something to help with my Lifestealer, to rotate around once he wants to infest. You don't really have good infest targets, because this Doom and this Tide are okay, but it's hard for them to like feel comfortable like only jumping the backline, right? They want to jump a core and Doom, and the Tide doesn't want to go in first. So something that's comfortable jumping the backline with the Lifestealer, like a Storm or an Ember type hero, I think is kind of them.
Hey,
It's
I
the
saw
Storm.
because I was going to be like, we don't see him play it that much, and here it is.
They need something that scales. They just had
For sure.
Lifestealer with Tide, Doom, and like teamfight heroes, but no damage. And that's where a Storm gives them another late game option.
I like it. I'm not sure how confident he is on the hero. I think I've seen him play in pubs like a fair decent amount, but I don't think he plays it this much this tournament. But it's the same style, right? Like people are playing it more early game than they used to. People used to go this like Treads, Kaya, Bloodstone build, and now they go Treads, Kaya, and they fight with the Overload talent.
All right, well, that's the end of our Game 2 draft. We've got Sunbeat with Casey on the stage before we hop into Game 2.
Sunbeat, you've always been good at being really transparent with us. Last time I talked with you, I asked how the mood was, and you had just gone through a loss. You said you were angry. How's the team feeling right now?
I think we feel like we need to be cautious. I think it's an easy, it's easy to let go of the control because they're a very respectable team. They're the underdogs, so it's easy to. There's a pitfall. There's a mental pitfall, and I think we're being very cautious, and we want to try to respect them. We do respect them immensely. They've been bullying everyone else, so we want to make sure we do the things right.
All right, thank you so much. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Back to you guys.
Yes, it is so important to be able to respect your opponents, as this is going to be quite the series that we have. You saw that Sunbeat respected the hell out of him.
Yeah.
He was very worried about that, and that's why we also saw the 45K gold lead.
Oh, yeah.
Where they just don't go for the high ground.
They just built it up more and more and more. You could see that Team Secret, they respect the hell out of Infamous, and they're not going to let them get an opportunity back into this game. We'll see if they can close out the series, though. 2-0, we're going to tie it up going into Game 2. Secret versus Infamous, and they're going to go for their Lifestealer Storm Spirit. This is a combo blitz that we saw before. We casted one of their games to the group stage, and one of the interesting things about it, they just don't really seem to use the Infest Bomb a whole lot.
I'm going to be real here. Hector is like the most one-purpose man I've ever seen in my entire life.
I've
never seen somebody that has just said to himself, you know what, I'm going to use this Infest purely for farm. They did one Infest Bomb the entire game with a Storm Spirit. But anybody that picks Storm Lifestealer automatically goes up in my books. I will love you for doing it. Whenever I see Storm at a TI, oh, it makes me happy, Cap.
I thought you said you wanted to see Storm lose.
Oh, no.
At a TI
I think he's certainly
because-
going to lose because he's bad, but
Oh, okay.
it still makes me happy.
Really pushing that narrative that Storm needs more buffs, huh?
Yeah.
30 seconds.
Let's see how Infamous fares this time. I think Game 1's narrative was really interesting, right? That Secret did give up a lot of the mid-game to Infamous. Infamous, dominated that period of time, had that really high win probability, but Secret, they just had a style that seemed to clash really well against Infamous, which is just hold the high ground, wait for the one little mistake to be made, wait for one little mispositioning or initiation gone awry. We're going to see Zai, who does with the open wounds, going to be slowed down quite a bit here. Trying to get away. They have another gush in a second. Can they actually kill him?
Yeah, they've got him.
With the Aphotic Shield for the pullback,
What?
level 1.
He went for pull level 1.
I mean, they want that first blood real badly, and thankfully Zai doesn't have miscoil because he's just one hit away, and he's going to get the bounty rid as well. Can they catch up to him? The Gush from Stinger finally gets that kill.
Now you've got a level 1 pull Storm.
Yeah. Maybe that's the safe lane build, because that's what we're seeing is a safe lane Stormseer. We're going to have a mid lane Lifestealer for Hector up against mid one's Tiny.
I really like this Doom pick, by the way. I think it's really nice against the Void. I've been waiting for teams to pick something against the Void. You need either some way to disable him, or you need some sort of hard save. We saw what a hard save looks like in that game where Liquid had to play against that Tiny. Maybe not the best solution for Volley, but if you could run at this combination, keep you from getting chronoed, maybe that's the way to deal with it. That's Infamous's hard read anyways, as they give it up again, Cap.
Yeah, they actually have the save from Shadow Demon. They've got the hard disable of the Doom. They've got the initiation and the burst potential of Storm Spirit plus Lifestealer. They seem to have every single answer you would want against a Faceless Void, but Secret do have answers in return. As we're going to see Puppy finally show himself in the bottom lane, trying to get some damage on Schofield, but he isn't scared.
You know what's funny? I think that Tree Volley is straight up like one of the best things in the game right now, if not like the best mechanic. And it's kind of wild because for a while everyone just thought it was terrible.
Yeah.
But the fact that it also applies the Echo Saber hits, it's such an easy way to fight. It just turns Tiny into like some sort of range gyro.
Zai gets away into the trees. They're both going to pop their healing salves. Win for the early pickup of the Mist of Avernus. Now Schofield's in trouble as the bash comes out from Nisha. And he finishes them off before the disruption can go out, evening out the kill score.
So something interesting that we noticed about Secret, and the reason why I was so confident that they were going to end up winning that game despite what it looked like, is because I think they have this like principle established now for TI. Normally what you do when you come to events like this is you think of an idea and you sort of hold strong to it. It seems like they're going for sort of like that old EG TI5 style. Pick something that can go through BKBs, so you're always dangerous to go high ground against, and then just ride out the game, wait it out. Because I think Secret have been in so many mega creep situations, or having like 2 racks up or 2 racks down, where it doesn't actually matter, that it doesn't feel like they want to commit for those racks anymore.
Yep.
And it doesn't really feel like they mind losing one set anymore either, as long as they can win the team fight at some point. As long as you're not getting straight up megaed and held in your base, which is why when they were behind by 45k, or when they were up by 45k, they still weren't able to go high ground.
Yeah.
They said to themselves, like, this is the easiest way, especially with the XP change, for you to just straight up lose the game.
Zai picks up the early miscoil finally and does manage to get himself a deny. But yeah, I see exactly what you're talking about. They basically said to themselves, Infamous were in this position. They tried to go high ground too early.
And they lost.
Through the game. We're not going to do the same thing. And I feel like Secret's probably one of those teams who uses buybacks really well, and that's part of the reason they're able to make these sort of high ground defenses. Maybe a good read on what heroes can be sacrificed to force out an initiation. They're going to try and go for Zai again here. Chris Luck gets a little bit more of a slow. The anchor smash is not quite enough. Zai is going to be able to get off the Aphotic Shield. Does have a miscoil prepared, so if Stinger brings him low but doesn't actually finish him, Zai will get another deny as he's going to try and burrow his way through the trees. He's getting that slow regen up as well. Stinger gush him once, hit him with the anchor smash. Aphotic Shield immediately comes out, and Zai should be fine now.
Still not having the ideal lane that he wants.
Certainly not. And not as it comes at the benefit of Yapzor, who's going to be playing that 4-position Enigma. The body blocking here, they're really recommitting to killing Zai. The Aphotic Shield goes down, but there's the pull from Chris Luck. He's going to turn and try and actually kill Chris Luck in return, trying to get the deny, simultaneously going for the kill, but Zai misses both.
I'm not entirely sure how worth that is, because Yapzor just got like 2 waves under the tower and he's already level 3 with Arcane Boots.
And Yapzor is actually going to try and kill Chris Luck here. He does have Malefice.
He's going to hold it for the time being.
He's got the boots advantage as well, but Chris Luck is so tanky with the Ring of Bacillus.
Yeah, Storm naturally has quite a lot of armor to him. But I do think that's the principle that Secret is going to ride for this TI.
Yeah.
Hold high grounds. Don't ever go for high ground yourself unless you're overwhelmingly ahead. And even then, they're playing it so cautious. They've got an SD on their team last game that enabled them to do that.
So let's talk about what Infamous needs to do to be able to break that kind of style. That very reserved, bend, don't break is a term that you frequently use for these kind of styles, right? Just letting the enemy crash into you over and over again. And at some point in time, you're going to break them defensively, and then you maintain control of the map. Like,
I'd like to see Infamous be a lot more patient.
Okay.
Going for racks, As
This
Zai
is quite the man
goes
fight
back to the
between
dive.
Maledicts and the Shadow Poison. Both have damage options that build up over time, but it looks like
Top lane.
Schofield's the one to be able to back down. But top lane, the rotation for mid one, killing Chris Luck. And now Zai trying to chase down Stinger. Yapzor in mid one is going to join him here. An early rotation secures the bounding room, but also gets 2 kills in the top lane.
These are the kind of rotations that we got really used to seeing from mid one throughout the DPC. These really aggressive moves into the side lanes where he doesn't really care how his mid lane's going as long as he's helping that out. But I think the way to deal with it is either you out-greet them and force them into a position where they actually have to make the move. So give yourself the best late game possible.
Yeah.
I think that's one really good way to deal with Secret. And the second really good way to deal with Secret, I think, is the OG principle of hit a timing and then just non-stop control the map. Don't let them ever leave the base. Set up aggressive wards. Allow Topson to scour out your jungle. Make it really hard for them to ever leave.
So the first one sounds like an EG principle, but the second one, that sounds a little bit more like Infamous' alley. I mean, we've talked about how they can be so aggressive and so good at being able to outplay any teams here, that if they can hit that kind of time with just control. Zai maybe falling here, tries to go for the miscoil, but you could see Infamous were canceling their attacks, trying to force out that miscoil and secure the kill rather than the deny. Now they might be able to get Yapzor as well. He instantly TPs away, though, after the only stun that they had.
So the question then, Whisper getting gone on at bottom, is Maledicted.
Oh, and he gets the bash! Nisha twice now has gotten just the perfectly timed bash to claim a kill.
The question is, do you think Infamous has the better late game? Because that's how it works when you think you have the better late game.
Yeah. And, well, that question's up your alley then. Do they have the better late game? They have answers to Void.
I think if they're up like 10k, their lineup is actually really sick.
Okay.
That's when I feel comfortable calling them. Because I think Doom is going to be a really good hero in this game potentially, but his laning phase isn't the easiest. This bottom lane, and Abaddon is such a good hero against him just because he's able to constantly throw out the Aphotic Shield, the miscoil, keep people alive. Because when you use Doom, you want it to be a finishing spell. It doesn't feel good to just use it to get somebody out of a team fight.
Dude, look at this. Minwan's using his illusions to try and get more and more chip damage on this off-lane tower. Secret very clearly have this idea that this early tower damage matters. Nisha did it in the first game, and now we see Midwan do it as well.
It is going to push up the lane to Whisper, which is why Midwan wants to get aggressive here. Maybe even try to set something up, but Whisper going to pop this Scorched Earth, bring the creep wave back a little bit, and they're going to concede that first tower of the game.
Yeah, that 1-1-4 build. Maxed out tree throw. That is deadly.
Yeah. And what's so scary about this combo, the Spaceless Void Tiny combo, is you know at some point they'll get it off. And that's going to be sure death for anybody. Infamous this time around, though, they do have 2 things that I really felt like they needed. One is a way to deal with the Void, and 2 is some sort of hard save against the Tree Volley, which is the Shadow Demon.
Chronosphere, they killed Whisper before. They are going to be able to get back after bash Nisha. What are these procs? Can the Schofield actually save me? He does have the disruption. One of the Maledict procs is actually going to be taken down, but he gets another bash. Nisha, this guy, he just keeps on bullying poor Whisper, and the luck is on his side.
3 levels of time lock, but nice rotation from Schofield. What I'd like to see is maybe even a rotation down towards that bottom lane with the Doom.
Okay.
Hector already has the Midas. Hector's game has been sick.
Well, he's going to need to return back to lane. The Paralyzing Cast doesn't bounce and hits the Lifestealer in time. Hector does manage to get up to that top lane and collect all that farm.
There's like this small contingent of Infamous fans that are just super hype, cheering them as they get into the booth.
And I love that too, because it makes me kind of feel, because I know there are so many fans watching online right now just cheering their hearts out for their team. This is the best that South America has ever done in a TI by a mile.
Oh, I'd love to see a game 3. We've casted so many Infamous games that watching their journey and seeing how far they've been able to come,
it's been quite inspiring. But Secret, they're just mowing down towers right now. Mid one has made 2 different side lane rotations that have, in the end, resulted in towers falling. Now the team is going to join him in the mid lane, where Zai, with that early level of the Curse of Avernus, helps them chip away at it. And Infamous just not really capable of fighting yet, because they've got a 5-position Tidehunter, so no Ravage up yet. He's going to have to wait until the Tome spawns.
I think what they learned about last game,
Zip in. They're going to be able to pull back into the mid lane, trying to go for Puppy, but mid one with that Invis Roost, may just be able to get the toss up, and Chris Luck. There's just not enough damage out from that toss combo with the maxed out tree throw. So
Still surprised that he decided to go for that, though.
Yeah.
That's not an easy kill with the amount of farm and levels that you have. For Infamous, I think they're being punished. What Secret learned, I think, about the last game was that they don't really defend towers early on because they have two greedy side lane cores.
Yep.
They've got Storm plus Lifestealer, and they've got Doom. It's hard for these heroes to fight without having to farm first.
Oh, Chris Luck just blew so much of his mana mid one. Forced him to use that, and that's where Puppy strikes. As he comes down from the high ground, catches him with the paralyzing cast, and Chris Luck does fall.
And Chris Luck, and you love that cockiness from him. It's sort of what gives him his strength, but
yeah,
at the same time, it'll cost him his life.
And it's costing him his net worth, too. He is second in CS, but he's down at 6th in net worth.
Yeah, even behind the App Store.
Jump on a Hector. He does have the rage, but they do have the black hole in return with a death ward. All that physical damage and the hole through that magic immunity is good enough to get the kill. That is the top net worth hero in the game, Fall.
He absolutely did not expect to die like that.
Now trying to chase down bottom lane, Zai. Holding onto a skill point here, ready to level borrow time when needed. Nisha's going to show up, does have the Chronosphere, but he's going to try and get Stinger without using that big team fight ability. Looks like he's got him too. These bashes are just always on time. Chris Luck over the mid is actually going to be able to get the kill on a mid one as the rotation comes out. Now can he chase down Yapzor? The loser spray. Find him, he spots him, he has the mana, and he's going to be able to pull him back. Whisper, don't need to use the Doom, my friend. Chris Luck is pulling all the heat right now.
Nice, and that aggression finally pays off for him. This is what they need out of Chris Luck. He needs to sort of go for that playstyle where he just doesn't care, runs in, tries to create space for Hector. This is what I meant by their 1 and 2 players have so much synergy. Hector already knows that he needs space. Chris Luck reads the same thing, says, I just have to go in. You can't play Storm like a 1 position, which I think a lot of people like to, but in a game like this, you have to front face for your other cores.
And in some of the group stage matches, it was Whisper who had to take on that role of just fearlessly diving in with like his off-lane Tusk game. That was the most suicidal Tusk I've ever seen, but he was just constantly trying to create that space. Here in the playoff games, it seems like they've been giving Whisper a little bit more scaling, a little bit better situations. And it's Chris Luck who's had to do all the diving. Stinger is going to throw out the Ravage. Does manage to nail 3, but he will fall into the Maledict here, trying to execute Puppy with the Body Shield plus Miscoil. That's too much heal. And all of that, Chris Luck trying to dive away with the Chronosphere. Does manage to catch him. They do have the Disruption, though. But how much mana he doesn't have. He does have 11 magic wand charge. He's going to pop that now. One jump away, but he does have the Maledict on him.
The cast is going to bring it forward.
So he follows it, bounces over to Whisper as well, stunning him. And Chris Luck falls. Now the toss back in design, trying to get that silence up onto Whisper, who's slowed down so much. His base boots and drums just will not get him out of his hell. That Secret is created in the mid lane.
And that tier 2 tower already gone. Secret taking advantage of the fact that Infamous, they want to push this potentially slower pace, not really allowing them to just set up farm. And this is the fastest we've seen somebody try to play against Infamous. We talked about how Secret likes to go for the high ground, but
it's kind of crazy that they're doing it with slow heroes too. Enigma, Faceless Void, this Abaddon is another one. He usually just likes to sit in lane, but they're just grouping up early.
I think partially what it is because Infamous's 3 cores are even greedier in a way.
Yeah.
And they have no answer right now for this Enigma with Mac. What Infamous needs to do is push out the side lanes pretty aggressively, start cutting waves. You can't allow Secret to just set up around your towers, because Secret is just systematically 1 by 1, tower by tower, running you down.
And another 60 seconds for the Ravage from Stinger. But honestly, there's just no more objectives to hold anymore. Just that bottom tier 2 is the only remaining outer tower for Infamous, and 14 minutes in the game. As a result, Team Secret have a 3,000 net worth lead. Stinger's going to be gone on, paralyzing cast. Can he TP away? Gets out of vision of the Death Ward, but he's in trouble. He's not going to go for the TP out.
He's going to try to swim his way out.
That's a Blink Dagger now for Midwan after being a part of that kill. You know, the interesting part is that Lifestealer still has the highest net worth in the game, and Secret only have a 3,000 net worth lead. What this means is, if Infamous can actually win a fight and start taking some towers, all that team gold that they're going to get, that net worth advantage that Secret has right now, it's going to change in a hurry.
Yeah, I could definitely see Infamous
Dire's bottom tower
still win
is
team
under
fights just
attack.
because they have Ravage and Doom. If you line fights up and Secret get too over aggressive, you will win team fights.
Yeah.
The only thing they've got to be careful about on the side of Infamous is waiting a little bit too long and allowing Secret to take too much of the map over, because there will come a time where the net worth disadvantage is just a little bit too much and they've got too many items. So
Yeah.
Infamous, I really like what they're doing. They're trying to make the best of a situation. Hector's still getting farmed, but you have to look for a fight at some point.
They're going to give up that last tower. Zai takes it cleanly with Midwan having his back, and they're all just sitting in the jungle right now waiting for their smoke opportunity.
Yeah,
they
here we go.
have Ravage.
This is something that they need to do. Just because you like fighting or farming doesn't mean you can entirely avoid the concept of fighting. You eventually have to make some sort of play around the map, and that's why they're all gathered up around here.
They
Hector
don't break
making
the
a
smoke
real
on
aggressive
the tier
move.
2. They're going to go wrap all the way around. The Yapster is going to get spotted now. Should be slowed down. The 3-man up the black hole. They need a disruption, but they know. Oh, now the Chronosphere actually lock another 3. Schofield, he's going to be caught here. Looks like he's going to be dying inside that Chronosphere. Yapster with the mech is actually still staying alive. They throw out the Ravage, but it doesn't actually hit Yapster. Is he getting out of here? The Maltic being used. Hector has a range up in 1 second's time, but now all of Secret is here, and they just got to use everything they have to be able to retreat. Stinger's going to get caught inside the trees. Hector trying to get away, finally blows that Ravage to be able to dodge the avalanche back over to Stinger, who's going to fall. They just did not respect Yapzor's Enigma enough. They could have blown Doom. They could have used an earlier disruption. So many things could have been used there.
Problematic thing was that Schofield ran away from the fight, thinking they had him for sure, but he actually needed to be in position to disruption. If he's able to get that off, maybe that fight goes a lot cleaner, but it was the idea that he wanted to look for more after.
Hector with his Hanamitis and Infest. This is a guy who has a different idea about lifestealing. He's going to be using his Infest to farm like 9 times out of 10. When he's not using it to farm, he's probably using it in team fights as an escape mechanism, not as an initiation tool.
Yeah, this guy is going to use this to never team fight. The way he's going to come back into this game is to use it to farm even more. And that's why Secret are going to take advantage of that. They know what Hector's about. They're going to go in for the Roshan. And it's in fact going to be Infamous that now has to potentially learn how to hold high grounds at this early state. They've been aggressive so
Whisper,
far.
he's just going to try and go in with a Scorched Earth. Chris Lock holding around. Midwan makes his jump in, though. He's going to be able to catch the Doom. Doom survives. Whisper can get off a Doom somewhere here, and he uses it on Nisha, but Nisha's plenty healthy, especially with the Phonic Shield on him. But Stinger's here. No Ravage, but they will manage to execute. Yeah,
the clap by Roche.
They're going to jump back in. The clap for Roche on the Phonic Shield. Can they finish off Nisha? They need a little bit more than double damage. The final hit, he gets him. Whisper finishes him off. Now Stinger trying to hide from the Death Ward, but everyone from Infamous has thrown their lives into this fight to slow down Team Secret. It's gonna cost them 4 here. Schofield will take a little time, but eventually he does fall to Zai. That entire time, Hector was farming. He is so close to his Radiance, but Roshan is so close to dying in Team Secret.
Look at this, they know that he's used the Rage to farm Whisper in this area, mid one, looking for more, but
they're gonna run into Whisper first. He's there to help guide Hector. The Radiance is on its way. They're so close to being really strong right now. If they could just stall out Secret for a little longer.
This would be sick if they could get the Aegis themselves. It's so low, just at about 2,000 HP. Infamous should know about this. They walked into the pit to see it. That's why Secret is still holding this area, but they don't have the black hole.
They now have the Ravage, but he needs to be able to get it off Stinger. He will be able to get away from that initiation from mid one into the back line. Oh, the Chronosphere doesn't jump far enough. Chris Luck saved by the disruption, though. He'll be okay. Stinger limps away at just a little bit of HP mid one. He's going to be gone off by Hector, being burned out by the Radiance, and now on the high ground, Chris Luck is ready to make his reinitiation with Whisper, sandwiching him from behind.
This looks
so
good
much
for Infamous.
over time. Infamous, can they actually win this when the buybacks are coming in? Can they finish off these heroes before the paralyzing cast? Chris Luck jumps away again. He managed to get back, but they hold. They don't want to go into the tier ones. They don't get too ahead of themselves. They know they force so many buybacks out of Secret. They need to play a little bit scared. They're going to leave Schofield behind here.
Roshan, the bigger goal right now.
They know they're
do
going
have
in
the
for the
black hole.
Roshan. But can they actually get inside the pit? They've used so many abilities. Mid one chasing him away. Is Chris Luck going to do it?
He's gonna
try
guess.
and jump in.
3, 2, 1.
Empty slot. Nope, can't get it. He's going to try and jump in the last second. Jumps into the high ground using all of his mana, but Stinger will be caught here. Infamous. They managed to force so many buybacks out of that, but in the end, Secret was so strong with those buybacks that they guaranteed Roche.
That was not bad at all, though, from Infamous. They've demonstrated they can win team fights, especially when Secret. They don't have that black hole as a threat. And if you're put in a position where you have to solo Chrono the Storm Spirit, it makes it really easy for Schofield to get the save. Mid one did have to use the buyback. And Infamous only down 2k gold now. Their heroes are tanky, not easy to lock down, and you can see the seeds of how they can potentially win team fights.
Oh yeah, I mean, that fight was so close to really breaking Secret, and we talked about how if they do get broken, we're gonna get Roshan for Infamous, we're gonna turn that into towers, and all of a sudden, all this net worth that still is on the map, all these towers just represent little piggy banks that can be cracked open and giving gold to Infamous. That net worth is gonna slide in their favor, and very rapidly, they could take full control of the game.
What an interesting meta where everyone just saves their buyback now. Even cores, because they know they're about to take that fight. Instead of buying out your Ogre Axe or anything like that, you know, they're just gonna hold on, wait in case they take a fight.
Looking at Chris Luck right now, but Schofield's not too far away. They're trying to bait him.
Infamous's position in that team fight was perfect. The way that they were able to corral and wrap around.
Oh,
you got Chris Luck on the high ground, 2 people marching in from the side.
Saiga jumped. Not sure how much they want to commit to this hero that has the borrow time in from behind. They're going to go for Stinger, trying to force out the Ravage. They do manage to lock down him and Schofield, who's going for the disruption. The Yapsor threatening the black hole from the low ground. Disruption out, but Schofield's still dead. All the cores of Infamous will be able to get out, it seems, is mid one. Trying to chase him, has a blink up in a second, but I just don't think Avalanche and maybe a toss back. It's going to be close, but Hector just making sure that mid one doesn't feel comfortable going for it.
And we'll see what Secret ends up doing here. In the previous game, they were so cautious about trying to siege into the high ground.
They do have a very low siege wagon. They can finish that off rather easily. Looks like Secret can't go for it just yet.
Yeah, and it looks like they're going to hold strong to that idea that they have about Dota. Just back out, continue to try to control the map. Don't have to go high ground until you get wiped.
Yeah. But with such elusive heroes like the Storm Spirit, it's hard to keep those side lanes pushed in. It's hard to deny that farm away from a hero like Storm. And I think they know he's forced a rotation. That's why Chris Luck's going to be able to TP down to bottom. Trying to finish off Puppy here. It's so close. The TP does not go
Nice
off.
infest.
Good infest range from Hector. And he farms up yet again. This time it's a hero.
That was one of those convenient things.
Yeah.
I think he was loath to use that infest there.
Yeah. But it works. And now he is looking at an Assault Cuirass, or maybe, no, sorry, Heaven's Halberd. He's already got the Sange. That would really help against this Faceless Void, who represents a lot of damage right now in these team fights because Nisha is so farmed with the whole Mjolnir.
That's good damage right now, but Infamous don't have the best way to deal with this Abaddon core.
Yeah. See, the last time they tried to go for Zai, Zai wasn't scared at all. He's got the borrowed time. They don't have any way to break him and silence him.
And the illusions are so good in these positions.
Yeah. Just chasing down poor old Schofield. Lets out a little frustration in the all chat wheel. 22-10, approaching the 25-minute marker here. Secret still holding that 3,000 net worth lead they've had for most of the game. But this entire time, Hector, the big carry of Infamous, the one everybody's been talking about, he's been getting bigger and bigger. He's now got Radiance, Halberd, and he's sitting inside an Ancient Granite Golem. That's so hard for Secret to deal with right away. Nisha's gonna try and lay his physical damage into it. Schofield breaks the smoke of Yapsor. Yapsor's gonna try and jump forward. Mid one does manage to find the initiation first. Schofield dies. Whispers now gonna be chased down by Nisha. Singer positioning himself for the Ravage, ready to go. Holds onto it now. The Ravage actually not gonna go off as he gets Chronosphered up, but Singer's also simultaneously not gonna die until the last second. He finally gets it off. Controlling up some heroes, yes, but there is no fight to be had for Infamous.
Yeah, you saw the creep come in for a second, and then he just backs out completely. Hector sees that this is a sinking ship. Chris Luck the instant.
Glyph goes down. He tried to cut the creep wave. He does have a haste rune, so he's making the most of it.
He has to make this sort of play. I really like it. It's gutsy, but they're so far behind, and they can't take fights right now. And that's the scary part for them.
Yeah.
They just don't have the team fight at this point. So Chris Luck, you've got to buy time for the rest of your team.
I almost wish that Singer had held the Ravage. Because that fight was very clearly over.
Yes.
Like the Chronosphere being used, if he still had Ravage right now, Infamous could be the ones playing on the offensive.
Yeah, but by using the Ravage in that position, it makes it so you have to wait again.
Yeah.
And that's twice that's happened, where Stinger uses that Ravage reflexively, thinking that there's a team fight, and it ends any sort of counterplay that Infamous can make. Because right now, it should be Infamous. No Aegis, you would have Ravage and Doom up, you could get aggressive without Chronos.
But instead, it's Secret who aren't going to hold control of this game. Trying to hunt down Chris Luck, who's going to pop out. Mid one spots him, Avalanche, but Chris Luck's faster. Does manage to get the jump away. Even if he's caught by the toss, he can still make a long enough jump. Yeah, so almost intercepted him. Good thing that Chris Luck had the read to run into the trees with that ball lightning, rather than down the lane and try and like farm up some creeps or something. Look at this. Secret immediately moving into the mid lane. They're going to be able to catch Whisper, toss him straight up in the air instead of back to the supports. Whisper does have the Crimson Guard. He's super tanky, but the Maledict's making him so much squishier, and he's going to take out. Now, the Black Hole being used on the Hector, immediately canceled, though, as a good disruption from the side. Got to go field his life, but at least he's able to get Hector out of that engagement.
That's perfectly fine. Now you've traded the Shadow Demon for the cooldown of the Black Hole. That'll be worth it, and it coincides with the time that Ravage is going to come back up. Because Whisper didn't use Doom, he'll have that.
Yeah.
And this is the time I feel like you have to fight if you're Infamous. Now that there's no Black Hole, yes, there is Chrono, but you'll have Doom, you'll have Ravage. Hector, I guess you could wait for his AC, but timing-wise, it feels like this is one of the better times that they could fight. Plus, they have a DD on their Storm.
We'll see if they're able to make the hold here. The BKB is coming in for the Faceless Void. Nisha has it now, so very important that Whisper does manage to get the Doom off on him, or maybe Yapsor. But Yapsor doesn't have the Black Hole, so I suppose he doesn't really make up much of a threat.
No, not quite yet.
But Secret continuing that philosophy of gaining enough ground, not going high ground, just trying to control the map. The Assault Cuirass, man, that is not that far away for Hector. And he's willing to buy out. You were talking about how it's interesting this meta, so many of these teams are willing to hold buybacks for the opportunity to win a team fight.
Yeah.
Infamous is like one of the few teams that doesn't seem to do that. Even in the late game, they just seem to buy out all the time.
It's it's so endearing. Like that they're just willing to sort of treat it like a pub.
Yeah.
That's sort of what made them like my favorite team so far at this TI, because they just do things that no other team really does. Like where Hector refuses to use Infest to hop into any of his teammates to take fights. It just reminds you of like some core in your Pubg game. Like you're pinging him, and out of spite, he's using it to pop out of creeps.
Okay, so he's got Heaven's Halberd and the evasion talent now on the Lifestealer. He just got seriously strong, but Infamous cannot afford any more pickoffs, and Stinger is going to run headlong into mid one. Tossed up in the air. It is still your 5 position. Even if it's Tidehunter, it's still your 5 position. This is space where Hector immediately TPs up to the top lane because he just saw everyone on the right-hand side of the map.
That's the funniest part about Infamous is they're more than willing to trade their supports for farm.
Yeah.
That is the real trap card that Infamous will always play. You might have caught Stinger, but now Hector's farmed 18 more creeps.
He has.
And that's something that I wish people appreciated more, and I should probably push too, is that the supports do die for him. It's not like Hector gets the space out of nowhere. It is his supports, it is Chris Luck trying to make space for him, pushing out the waves very aggressively so that he can find the space to hit neutrals where he knows Secret is 4-man clumping.
Yeah, just watch what Chris Luck's going to do here. And Secret, they've been reading this timing pretty well. He's going to try and hit the tower, and he immediately gets caught by the Chrono Sphere.
He got read like a book.
He really did. What would you call it, a prize fighter? Being able to read the movements?
Yeah,
this is
Secret
exactly
is
Secret.
really determining the rhythm now of Infamous.
I mean, just being able to have a defensive ward like that near your mid tower where you're controlling all of the map, that says a lot about how much they know about Infamous and the way they move around, the respect they have for those plays. Soul Catcher makes mid one a little squishy here. He backs away
such a
thanks
good
to the
fight.
Glimmer Cave.
If he was able to grab that sentry down a little bit quicker, maybe they get the purge on the mid one and they can grab that kill.
Secret finally going to go for the high ground push here, but there is a buyback on the Storm Spirit. So if Infamous can find the right kind of opening here. Hector, open wounds with an AC. It is so hard for them to actually challenge him, especially with a Soul Catcher. They don't feel comfortable fighting. And not finishing that tier 3, so they may go back for it here. It only needs 1 or 2 hits. But that'll be 15 seconds left on the Storm Spirit.
Yeah, we'll see if Secret are correct in going for this high ground. So far in this tournament, they've been so loath to do it, but they grab the tower.
But are they going to get punished for it, Hector? It's not going to go forward. Tier 3 Oh, I like this a lot. Look at this. So this fast smoke. Secret may try and hit a shrine or something on their way out.
One time for the boys. Hector, get into Chris Luck.
He will not.
Oh, if he uses this to farm. Hector, don't do it.
You know he's doing it. Man, he's so strong right now with the AC too.
Yeah, but he has to be dealing some damage at some point. They need this net worth to lead to impact.
Yeah. About to.
All right, he's gonna infest for those newts.
He kills
for
the
that
Siege
wagon. I'm in for it.
And with that, he will be the first to cross over the 20,000 net worth line. He just doesn't seem to be scared of Nisha at all. Not scared of a Chronosphere, all these evasion talents and items.
I honestly love it. I'm gonna start doing this in my games.
No, please don't. You're not Hector.
I'm not Hector?
You're not Hector. Hector's good enough to do this.
It just changes everything I know about Storm Lifestealer.
Yeah, dude.
That's really what it does. It just messes with my head. It's like Hector's got this flowchart in his head. It's like, anytime I'm not farming, I'm not gaining gold. And anytime I'm trying to go for a gank, that's 30 seconds that I'm not getting farm. It's like, there are creeps on the map, farm. There are heroes on the map, avoid them and farm.
And Secret, they very clearly read the way that Schofield, he's dead. The smoke up from Secret's going to find the opening on the 4 position. Another hero that does have buyback, though. And Chris Luck is already in a position to be able to split push.
Yeah, maybe this forces them back, but not without taking Roche first. And if Schofield buys back in this position, this would alert Secret to the fact that there is going to be a 5-on-5. But I don't know if you can give up this Aegis and Cheese if you're Infamous. That's going to be another, like, 6 to 8 minutes of just waiting.
Thinking about running into the pit, but it's too late. It's already dead. Hector actually coming in from behind here, trying to catch one of the supports. Pops the Lincolns on a Yapsor.
He's got to be careful. They have so many different ways to break
and now with no rage, he's going to be in serious trouble. He needs to be able to get an defense target. Here comes the Storm Spirit, but no, he dies. He's controlled up.
And the cast bounces on him.
Spirit does manage to catch Stinger. They do manage to get Chris Luck out of there, but this is a disaster for Infamous. The toss forward of the Enigma to make sure that Whisper knock it out alive. 3 dead on Infamous after a successful Roshan for Secret, and now's the time to break the high ground.
Didn't even have to use the black holder. Yapsor was able to hold it, and with 3 dead, Secret finally feel the relief. Are able to go high ground.
And that'll be at least 1 lane of barracks. We'll see if Hector's gonna buy back. Storm is here. I have a feeling Infamous just has this read that Secrets, they can't actually beat them in a fight right now. So better just to not use this net worth. They're going to find the opening here onto Schofield. Disruption. Time dilation slowing down Schofield as well. Now he's going to buy back with Ravage going down on so many heroes, but instantly, look at that borrowed time. And the black hole! It's perfect! Locking down the 2 cores! Hector as well as Chris Luck about to fall inside that black hole. That's just it. Infamous. They're going to fall here as Zai combined with Yapsor, the borrowed time into a Phonic Shield and the black hole immediately afterwards, catching everybody. Infamous, they played one hell of
They're
a
just
tournament.
dancing with each other.
But it's looking like Secret. They're just going to go for the tier 4s here. So much time left on Infamous that it just seems impossible. Whisper, he's hoping he'll lure them into the fountain if possible, dropping some items, dancing around them. What a fun team to watch. What a charming team to watch. But sadly,
till the end, they'll do this.
Till the bitter end, they will drop their items, do their taunts, drop their sprays. Going for Puppy. Oh no, the Lincolns. And that's it. GG is called. Team Secret will 2-0 Infamous. The Cinderella story will end here against the DPC champs.
And that was Secret just hard reading them all around the map. They did such a good job of finally figuring out the timing of Infamous. So many other teams failed at doing so.
Yeah. I mean, we heard Sunbeat. They said that they really respected Infamous. They were knocking a lot of teams out of the tournament. You could see it in their play as well. The way that they prepped, studying Infamous. They knew exactly how Hector was going to be playing that lifestealer, had a plan to combat it as much as possible, taking those early towers, pushing the tempo of the game, because they knew that Infamous is a dangerous team if they get in their element.
Let me say, now that they're out of the tournament, they were my favorite team to watch.
Yeah.
Easily. Me and Cap actually requested this game because we wanted to see if they could do it. Unfortunately, they weren't able to, but I feel like there's nothing for them to be ashamed of. Getting top 8, you outlasted half the field. This was incredible. This was one of the coolest stories that I've ever seen at a TI.
Indeed.
Oh, I love this team. I hope they get to stick together.
Hold your heads high, Infamous. You've done a great job here at the International, but it's Secret who moves on, and as we move on to the panel.
I think it's very easy to see why Will is using such high praise for the team as they do get knocked out on the side of Infamous after Secret does take the 2-0. Infamous already set a very high bar for their region, a fantastic team, and what a road it is. And to go out against Secret, I mean, this is your leading team heading into the event. It's a pretty decent way for your Cinderella story to end.
I'm just gonna be real blunt here. I'm gonna apologize in advance. Everybody that's talking about how SA doesn't deserve a spot at these tournaments, questioning the talent level in that region, saying why do we have guaranteed SC slots at majors, you can all now shut the fuck up forever. This team was amazing at this event.
Now he says it to chat. This man.
I'm sorry.
I'm glad you're sitting
done.
next to me right now and not us.
SA haters, you're done.
Where you at?
Where you at? I'm sure they're in the chat right now still, but
Right though. He's right. It's been kind of tiresome as well. Every time you'd see a team get knocked out, you have PPD, who wasn't even able to play on the main event stage, talking about how it was a free slot all year and how he loved Birmingham because it was the best tournament. It was going to be better than TI. It's bullshit. These guys, they had composure, they had heart. They get beaten by the tournament favorites, sure, but like they got to be proud.
I do want to say it's pretty obvious where that comes from, though, too. I think there are so many moments where you see somebody being, I don't know, I think the word that we use right now in the gaming community is usually hostile. I think one of the times often when you see somebody acting that way, it's pretty clear what their intentions are. I think a lot of the times that we see people so against an entire region, it's usually because they're just worried that their region isn't going to make it, right? Like they're agenda Andes. That's what I like to call them. But we have a winning Andy right now with Casey. Let's hear what Puppy has to say.
I'm sorry, I had a moment. Puppy was trying to bring back a joke that didn't work the first time when I interviewed him during media days.
Right.
Okay, let's talk about you and Infamous. The last time that we've chatted with a couple people on your team, including Apsar yesterday, talking about how scary it is to face a team like Infamous, where you haven't had a chance to watch them as often and study as much as you have the other teams. So what was that like for you as a captain?
I've been watching Infamous games, I think, this whole tournament. And therefore, I admire the way they play and their play style and their ideas. You know, Ricky Mid, you know, with Magnus and stuff. I've kind of saw it. I played with Chris Luck, a pub game, actually, just when he did that. So I was kind of aware of it and stuff. But I do admire their ideas. I do admire how they play, and I do think they're actually a very good team.
And you're known for being an expert drafter, so I want to get your insight, if you don't mind, on the ban of Wraith King. Was that a respect ban based off of a little bit of fear, only respect, or were you just trying to play it safe?
It's like when things align in a way in draft. It's basically, I can't like give away exactly why I did it, but there's some type of heroes that they ban, which I consider that they're making Wraith King's life easier. And since they're doing that, I don't think I need to set myself into their trap. I'm like, okay, fine. If you want to remove so many heroes or whatever, do exactly the way playstyle you want to make Wraith King work, I'll just remove it. And it's like a boost because they've kind of won every game with Wraith King.
Last question. I'd love to get your thoughts on just an outsider's perspective for a moment on Dota. We talked a little bit about the respect that you have from Infamous. Is it a respect in general for watching teams? Like, you've played this game for a really long time. You remember what it was like to get started, and now it's kind of cool that you can take a step back and see how other teams and other players are trying to follow along in your footsteps and those of the other veterans.
It's always nice to see something fresh Yeah, you know, whether it be the competition we're in, whether it be music or food or whatever it is, it's like I feel like this when I watch Infamous play, I feel like it's some fresh stuff, you know, some dank, fresh, you know, good Dota. Therefore, it's really, yeah, it's pleasuring to actually watch.
Yeah, all
It really feels good to like see some things like that happen.
Well, congratulations and best of luck tomorrow with Vici.
Thank you.
All right, back to you guys.
Yeah, Puppy, I very much like you am a connoisseur of dank Dota, and we're going to be talking a lot more about the dankest of Dota, but I actually just heard as well that Casey is going to be standing by as well, or no, Sheever, that makes a little bit more sense. Casey cannot be everywhere at once. We have Sheever standing by right now with Chris Lock.
Yes, thank you, Rich. Chris, I kind of want to give this interview a positive turn. You were the person that said before TI, the goal is to be the best South American team any international has ever seen. And you have achieved that. And I feel also often when I'm doing these interviews, I am talking as if it's the end of a year and it's the end of like a career. And for you guys, I feel like this is just a beginning. How are you feeling about this run so far and what is in the future for you?
Para darle un spin más positivo a esto, vos dijiste antes que quería ser el mejor equipo de Sudamérica en un international y ese era su objetivo. Su objetivo no era ser el primero, pero era ser el mejor de Sudamérica y lo han logrado. No solamente eso, sino que para muchos equipos international es como el final de un ciclo, pero para ustedes es un poco como el comienzo. Así que, ¿qué opinan al respecto? ¿Cómo se sienten?
Yo me siento muy bien, creo que cada uno de mis compañeros también se sienten bien de lo que hemos logrado. Como le dije en un momento, yo quería estar en uno de los equipos que hacen historia en el Perú o en Sudamérica y me siento bien por hacer eso, ¿no?
He says that he's great, his teammates are also great, and as you said, he wanted to be one of the best teams in Peru and South America, and having accomplished that, it feels really good.
I'm very glad to hear that because I know you've got the whole continent watching, and I think with your performance over the last couple of days, it's the whole world right now, and everybody is shouting "God!" and everybody is super happy for you guys to be able to reach it, to make such a big impression. And I want you to address all those people, if you can, and tell them what they have meant for you.
Con la performance que han tenido durante este torneo, no solamente toda la gente en Sudamérica está alentando por ustedes, sino que también todo el mundo, con el GA y con todo eso. Y ahora tenés una oportunidad de hablar con tus fans y decirles algo a ellos. ¿Algo que quieras decir?
Que gracias por apoyar, ¿no? Que si no hubiera sido por ellos no estuviéramos acá y que en Sudamérica hay mucha gente que apoya el Dota, pero creo que ahora como hemos llegado a un lugar que ningún equipo lo ha hecho, creo que ha habido mucha más gente. En mi página he recibido muchos mensajes de aliento. Antes recibía como que malos, como diciendo que no vas a poder, no sé, y eso me motivaba más, ¿no? A poder callarles la boca y mira dónde estoy.
He just wants to thank all of his fans and also that the reception has been positive from reaching to this point. He also wants to point out that before fans used to be a little bit more negative and tell him things like, well, you'll never get this far, you'll never get the chance, you guys are not that good. And like, well, here we are and we proved that South American Dota is a real thing.
Definitely a real thing. Super excited to see what you guys can do next. Thank you for talking to me. And we're going to go back to Rich.
I think definitely silenced all of the haters. It was something that we were talking about a little bit earlier on the panel. And also, I do want to touch upon the fact that interview, usually after we do see a team get knocked out, there's a very different feeling to it. I think it's palpable, the achievement that was already reached by this team. And also, I think a lot of us, I'm assuming a lot of you guys in chat as well, I know us on the desk, it's like we just want to watch these guys play more Dota.
100%. There's really nothing else to say. These guys played like champions at this event. They played like a team that is going to be a factor in future majors, period.
I just hope that this team takes the experience back to South America as a whole. Oftentimes, the South American teams and the Southeast Asian teams, since there are so many countries, it kind of gets a little tribal at times. And it's like, oh, it's like the Peruvians versus the Brazilians and stuff like that. And obviously, I'm extremely happy that Peru was able to make it this far. But I hope that they take their winnings and they enrich the South American scene as a whole, because that's the goal of these extremely high prize pools.
And honestly, looking to the future, like it's not like these guys are near the end of their careers. You take any of their two players, add their ages together, they're still younger than Nahas. There's so much time for these guys to grow.
Well played, sir.
It's true.
It's true. It's just true. Like, I'm just saying, these guys have the
Basic
potential.
math.
Like, Whisper has been a guy to watch going back all the way to the first minor at Dream League. Remember talking to him, they like, this kid, he was 16 at the time, and he looked like a superstar in the making. It's just a matter of time. We can only expect this region to do better and better. You look at other games, typically as regions adapt to a game later, it takes extra time. But I mean, I'm sure anyone who's watched Counter-Strike recently knows that Brazil's not a region to be trifled with. I can't imagine that Dota is going to stay, Northern Hemisphere dominant for much longer.
Well, here's the question that I have now, and this is looking very far down the line. I mean, obviously, this is not something that's going to come into effect instantly, but when you look at this team, I think one of the reasons that they were so dangerous is because of the attitude that they were able to have, and the road that they actually had at this tournament, coming in as the underdog, being these young guys. Do you think now that they've already posted up results, do you think that stress, that pressure comes on them in the next tournament?
I don't think so.
No.
Did you see his face?
100%
Did you
not.
see his Chris Luck's face? Like, that man had a purpose. He had a goal. You can see the heart like through his jersey.
Well, but
he's not going anywhere.
I want to go a different direction with that. It's also about how much better can these teams be with coaching? How much better can these teams be with analytical and support staffs? Tsunami, my man, talking about bringing the resources back to that region. That infrastructure is there now.
Well, speaking of infrastructure and staffs, I do want to take a slight pivot here because there are so many contributors to Dota 2, and everybody knows GL and Mumu. Every time there's an update, we are always excited to see what they put out. Our cameras met up with them at home to learn more about them.
有时候就是你有些东西说不出来，然后用故事、用画表达出来。我操，差点丢了。
和 GL 相识是 TI1 之后，吸引我们的地方就在于它的画风以及我们对 Dota 1的熟知。这个可能也对 Dota 2版本的平衡。我们都会做一些分析，然后做一些漫画内容，当然会夸大一点，搞笑一点。如果大型比赛的话，我会把战绩、战队变成一个形象。
我画的一般都是就是比赛的流程啊，比赛里面的各种，基本上都画一些。
就之前我有各种风格，包括黑白的线、Q 版各种。潮汐的话，当时就不经意间画了一个形象，然后在国内来说起了个名叫瓜皮，这算一个现在代表我的一个形象作品。
一到晚上这样开，我就感觉就是Dota所有角色里面，这个影魔是最有特色的，所以就贼喜欢。然后后来就弄了一个 Q 版的形象。冰雨呢？评语就比较复杂了。
单身男子的喜好，
就是看完我画的图的下面评论，就感觉比较有动力，就比较想就是给大家带来欢乐。
就觉得这些画的特别厉害，特别有构思吧。
就是因为他们的这么一滴一滴的付出，所以Dota 2能有今天，就他们也是有很大的功劳的。
我觉得这种对整个电竞圈或者对Dota圈的话，都是一个非常好的一个事情。我觉得他就是他做的事情，我觉得是非常有意义的。
还是比较感谢这些自媒体对于Dota的，就是一些纯喜好的支持，真的还是有帮助，我觉得。
还是挺感谢这个游戏，这个不仅是让我们有了一个娱乐的东西，而且收获了友情以及更多的东西。这已经是第9个年头了，Dota 2还是这么大，还是说一起凑到一起说，哎，把笔一扔，就说打游戏吗？打。即便可能项目做得慢一点，可能自己的规划会拉长一点， 但是我们不想抛弃掉一个曾经给我们带来快乐，现在也给我们带来快乐，可能未来也会给我们带来快乐的这么一个东西。
我要喷，有什么想要喷的事情？在
我的抄袭玩的好吧？
牛逼！
It is always amazing to learn more about some of the contributors in our scene. In the end, Dota 2 is a game of contributors. That's how we got to be here. That is why we're here. And another reason why we're here is two teams about to play on the stage. It is time for Evil Geniuses and Team Liquid to get ready. Liquid, 5 international performances. This is their 6th. And of course, holder of the Ages of 2017 with almost the same roster. They have had a rough start, but in true Liquid fashion are making an absolute run through this lower bracket. A force to be reckoned with. And the force that they will reckon with is a team that has also gotten Ages to their name. Let's welcome in Evil Geniuses. This is Evil Geniuses' 7th international. 1 Aegis, 3 third place finishes. And they are looking hungry for that Aegis once again, or at least a male NS4 once again. The rest, of course, still wants to get their first one. They're taking the stage to face Team Liquid. We saw them on stage yesterday up against OG. They had a rough time, dropped them to the lower bracket. I hope they have had some time to relax. And I know for a fact